Hello, everybody. God bless you. Welcome to In Context with Jim Green, where we vehemently defend the faith and send the sinner and the saint to the gospel of the one, the only Jesus Christ of Nazareth. We got a very special show today, very special guest. We are going to talk to Dr. Khalil Amani, who is a survivor of the Yahweh Ben Yahweh cult from the 90s. Okay. So what we're going to do, guys, is we're going to show him the love that we show all our guests that come over here. So you guys in the shout, in the chat, you show my brother some love over there, okay? And also, I want you guys to have some questions, because at the end of this stream, I'm going to be fielding questions for brother Khalil Amani. You know what I mean? If you guys have questions about him and his experience, we're going to do that at the end of the stream. But without further ado, I just want to introduce you guys to my brother Khalil Amani. Tell the people who you are, my brother.
Hello, everybody. First, thanks for having me on the show, Mr. Jim Green.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You done some powerful work too, by the way. I check you out. I watch you.
Thank you.
I
Thank
love
you. I
it.
appreciate that, brother.
My name is Khalil Amani, and I was a former member of a Hebrew Israelite sect in Miami, Florida, known as the Yahwehs. And we go back to the 80s, not the 90s, 80s.
Oh, okay. I got the
Yeah,
wrong decade.
it's
Okay.
okay. 80s.
That's a little
Long
farther
time
back.
ago.
Yes, sir.
And
Yes, sir.
yeah, so I was a member. I joined the Yahweh movement, which was a Hebrew Israelite movement,
Hmm.
right out of high school. Well, I was out of high school about 2 years. I
Hmm.
joined at age 20. So
Okay.
that,
Young.
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. And
Yeah.
in the beginning, um, they didn't have a building. There was no temple. I was
Hmm.
among the first 40 or so people to join. And at that time, we were meeting from house to house, and
Hmm.
we were renting little buildings just to do our Saturday Sabbath class on, or
Hmm.
Wednesday night we had another class. And I
Hmm.
was one of those young college kids I was in college,
Hmm.
and just kind of stumbled upon some literature about this particular organization.
Hmm.
Understand, I had like everybody knows about the Hebrew Israelites today or whatnot,
Right. Right.
the different camps and whatnot. But
Right.
back in this is 1980,
Right.
1980,
Yeah.
I had never, and it's from Miami, deep south.
Right.
I had never heard of a Hebrew Israelite.
Right.
Didn't know anything about it, never heard it.
Hmm.
I was a deeply, somewhat religious kid, baptized in the Baptist church at 10 years old by myself. Just went down. Always had this thing about God. But my beginnings of finding this cult, as it came to be
Hmm.
known,
Yeah.
I was in college and I went to a fraternity brother's house, and
Hmm.
I was actually waiting. We were going to go somewhere. I forgot, but I was waiting on him. He was in the shower, and
Right.
I picked up the literature that was on his coffee table,
Mm.
and it said, "You are not a N-word, a nigger.
Right. Right. Right.
Our true history, the world's best kept secret." So
Hmm.
I began to read it, and I always thought I was pretty decent at Black history and pretty decent in Bible matters.
Hmm.
So I was like, "Well, what is this?"
Right.
And I began to read it, and it made sense. And what really stood out to me is the fact that whoever wrote this literature was claiming that God is Black, Jesus is Black, all the prophets are Black.
Yes.
And that was new to me because, we had a family Bible at home, and it was, Michelangelo, the white Europeans, and
All white Jesus. All white
all,
Jesus stuff.
all white Jesus.
Yep.
And I used to open that book and just be in awe of the paintings, and never thought that Jesus wasn't white.
Right.
I just assumed he was white.
Yes.
So this literature was telling me I've been lied to.
Mm.
And it gave me scriptures. For instance, Job 30:30. My skin is black upon me.
Right.
And he happened to have a Bible there, and I opened the Bible up, and there it was, the word black. Now, I didn't think about the
Mhm.
context of what it meant,
Right.
but
Right.
the fact that it said my skin is black.
Yes. You
Oh,
see you seen black and automatically you make the connection. Boom.
there you go.
Right.
No context,
Yep.
no
Yep.
exegesis, no nothing.
Exactly.
Um, um, I saw the scripture in Revelation chapter 1 that talks about the hair white like wool, feet like grass that burn in the furnace.
Mhm.
Couple other scriptures. Song of Solomon 1 and 5. I am black but comely.
Mhm.
And I was blown away. This is a black book. And then I got to reading about him, literature explaining that I'm not a colored or Negro or
Right.
Afro American or an African American
Right.
or Balalian or all those are bywords and proverbs and bywords,
Yep.
that I was the original Jew. What? So I was hooked from the giddy up.
Yes. Mhm.
I was hooked
Yeah.
from the giddy up.
Amen.
That literature, it's my fraternity brother. And I asked him about it when he got out of the shower, and he was pretty nonchalant. He wasn't like, "Oh yeah, come down to this class." He's like, "Oh yeah, I go to this class on Wednesday night." It was all nonchalant. And
Right.
I was like, "Can I come? How much is it?" He's like, "Oh yeah, yeah, next Wednesday yeah, yeah, okay, yeah." And I was there next Wednesday.
Mhm.
But by the time I had gone to the class, I had read all the literature I could find, and I was a Hebrew Israelite before I even met the teacher.
Right.
I was,
You had
I was
you had already fully bought in before you even stepped in the doors. Right.
absolutely, before I
Right.
stepped in the door, I
Yeah.
had bought into it. I just couldn't wait to Wednesday, and
Mhm.
and that was an interesting experience. We were meeting at a building. It was called the Brownsville Community Center,
Mhm.
little community center.
Yeah.
And um, I remember sitting kind of close where I could see. When I first came in, I didn't really see who the teacher was. They had some
Mhm.
other speakers, but when he came in, he was
Mhm.
definitely, you knew he was the man.
Okay, so you talking about, and that's what I wanted to get to too, because I think that that's a very interesting, like, we're not just talking to somebody who you was part, because this was a pretty big group. It grew to be pretty big all over the country, and but you were one of the people that you were right there at ground zero, on the same place, the spot, the camp, the whatever you want to call it, the church where he was. You were directly under his teachings. Am I right?
Absolutely. Again, when I joined, we're probably about 35, 40 people deep. That was it.
So
And
you was right there at the beginning.
right there at the beginning, I went April of 1980. I was I was going to get married in June of 80. My
Hmm.
fiance at the time was pregnant, and we had already, we were already in the process of getting married, paying all the money for all the stuff we have to do.
Right.
And I, well, before I get there, I'll just tell you about my first experience of just
Hmm.
seeing this man for the first time. I sat a few rows back, but
Hmm.
'cause I wanted to observe what was going on.
Hmm.
I wasn't skeptical. I was just little fear, a little trepidation, little whatever it is that got your stomach feeling kind of queasy.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
And
yeah.
when I saw this man, I was blown away. I mean, um, he was he looked like I thought he would look.
Hmm.
I don't know why I had an image of him in my head, but uh, imagine maybe Malcolm X, light skin with the
Right.
afro,
Yeah.
in in a leisure suit that was a throwback to the disco era.
Okay.
Yeah, he didn't have a tie on. He had a suit with the shirt over. You could see his kind of chest
Right.
hairs, and he had the lapel on the outside of the suit.
Right.
So clearly, the suit was from this was 1980. This city from 76 or somewhere around there.
Right.
So, but I thought he was for lack of a better word, a beautiful man. I thought he was a
Right.
very handsome figure. For me, the strangest thing that he had these eyes for a black man. His eyes were, if I had to describe them, they seemed to be blue and then green and then maybe gray. I couldn't quite get the color of his eyes down, but they definitely weren't brown or black like the average black person.
Right.
Like I say, he was big, high yellow, light skin.
Yeah.
He was pretty eloquent. I imagined, and I knew nothing about him. All I knew that his name was Moses Israel or Brother Moses. That's how he was signing his literature in the beginning, Moses
Right.
Israel.
Right.
And under his name, he would put the scripture Jeremiah 15:16, which says, "Thy words were found, and I did eat them, and they were a joy and rejoicing to my heart." That's
Right.
goodbye.
Right.
But I remember it seemed to me that this guy was reading my mind. You know, I know better now. I know better now, but
Right. But it seemed as if he knew your thoughts almost like, right?
absolutely.
Yeah.
It's
Wow.
like I would be sitting there and he would say something, and then which would trigger a question in my mind, and then he would answer it. And in certain parts of that little conversation, he would look directly at me and smile at me
Yeah.
as he was doing his thing.
Yeah. Wow.
I was
Yeah.
thoroughly convinced. I tell you no lie. I was
Yeah.
thoroughly convinced that I was standing in the presence of Jesus.
Yes.
He didn't even have to say it.
Amen. Yeah.
I
And I was
knew. Go ahead.
now I was just going to say so what before we go, I'm going to ask a question, but what I want to do right now really quick before we continue on is for those of you who are in the chat, I appreciate you guys doing your thing in the chat as always. I'm gonna play a clip because someone here may see this video and maybe they don't know about this cult and the leader of the cult who they call Yahweh Ben Yahweh. And so I'm gonna play a clip for everybody and then we're gonna continue on. So let me go ahead and get this clip up so we can take a little quick look for, like I said, for the people who maybe you don't know who this guy is, maybe you have very little knowledge of who he is, and I just want, I like for my community to be educated. That's just me, bro. You know what I'm saying? So let's see. Let me just get this up here and get that going. And let's see. Y'all should be able to see it. And just play this really quick.
In the flesh, as the Son. This entire book from Genesis to Revelation is about me. According to Luke 24, 25, 24. In verse 25, you become a fool if you are slow of mind, if you are mentally debilitated, to believe all that the prophets have spoken. That means that you cannot lay the Old Testament aside. Because that's where the prophets spoke. That means the old preacher is a liar when he tries to say the Son of Man only wants you to read the New Testament. Because here, the Son of Yahweh is saying, you're a fool if you're slow of mind to believe all that the prophets have written. All of it. And in verse 27, read.
And beginning at Moses and all the prophets, he expounded unto them in all the scriptures the things concerning himself.
Now, when I come before you, it's just about time now for me to start at Genesis go all through all the prophets and the New Testament, all the scriptures, and Revelation, all the scriptures, and not just tell you about myself, but expound. Look up expound. See how well I'm supposed to do this. Because all of this is about myself. Huh? Yeah, see, the entire Bible is about me.
So I'm gonna stop it right there because I just think that that's a good. I see you laughing, Doc. I see you laughing. Because it's going to segue into what I was going to ask you. So it's actually the question is going to be answered. The next question was, what does this group teach about who Yahweh Ben Yahweh was? Obviously, he believed that he was the Son of God, the actual, or what did he believe he was actual God? Which one was it?
Both.
Both.
What he would teach, mind you, he didn't start off being Yahweh Ben Yahweh. He was Brother Moses. We used to call him Ak Moshe, which is Hebrew for Brother Moses.
Okay, got you.
And that went on that lasted about 2 years. And from Ak Moshe, he went to Yahshua, the Messiah, or Jesus the Messiah. And then about year 3, he had a big meeting in the auditorium on a Sunday, and he asked the question, who am I? And we all kind of looked around at each other and, you're Yahshua. That's what you told us. You're Jesus. And then one brother in the back of the room hollered out, that's Yahweh right there. Really, really, really loud. And he said, that's right, brother. And the whole place went up. You would think it was a holiness church with the way people fell out, screaming and crying, including myself.
Right, yes.
At this revelation that he wasn't just Yahshua, Jesus.
Yes.
He was Yahweh.
Yes.
And then he would say, I'm the only God you're ever going to see. You looking at God.
My goodness.
So it was that bold.
Yeah. That's it. That's interesting because if we know, I know personally of my study of cults, when the ones we talking about the headliner ones, we talking about the David Koresh ones, we talking about the Jim Jones ones, we talking about, you know what I'm saying? Those type of cults, they do exactly what you said. They don't start off, show up talking about, this divinity that they have. Right. They grow into the divinity.
Right.
And by the time they make this announcement, they got people so hooked that people just go right along with it.
Right.
And that seems to be what happened with him. So
by the time we grew and got big and he just started talking that talk, we were already, 3,000 or 4,000 strong. Like now you could talk that talk. But right. I came in looking at him, knowing he was Brother Moses, but I have to say, I really thought he was divine.
Yes.
On sight.
Yeah, because you said that. On sight, you saw him and you was like, oh man, this brother is from heaven.
Yeah.
Right.
And then the fact that he seemed to be answering my questions added to it. And then he would also cite scriptures like John 16:13 that talks about the spirit of truth coming. And he would not speak of himself, but would show you things to come. Yes. And then he also talked about Revelation 1, this person, how his appearance would be, having eyes as a flame of fire. And he definitely fit.
Wait. No.
Yes.
Now, so wait a minute, hold up. So you telling me that this brother connected himself to the visionary language of Jesus that we see in Revelation 1. He
Facts.
said,
Yes.
that's me.
Yes. Now, what he did was he didn't say no. He didn't say it was him. He said,
Okay.
look for the one with these attributes.
Oh, got you. Okay. Okay.
And
Yeah.
I'm looking at him.
Yeah.
He
But
clearly had he
yeah.
clearly had eyes that were different from the average
r-
African American man.
Right. So he knew what he was doing.
Yeah,
100%. He knew
yeah.
exactly what he was doing.
He was alluding to it.
Yes. And
You
he was
know,
just gonna let y'all make the connection.
make the connection.
You know.
Yeah.
So
He would
so
smile. He would say these things, and then he would smile. You know, and he did
mhm.
say things like, "Look at my eyes."
Right. Yeah. Because he knew to every all the tapes that I saw, because I've spent actually several hours studying him,
Mhm,
and I noticed that on a lot of his tapes, like he had a presence, like you said, he had a presence about him,
mhm,
like he knew how to walk into a room and command the room. You know what I'm saying? That's the thing I picked up about him. And
mhm.
for a young kid such as yourself, that's a very powerful thing. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? Now, I don't know about anything, this is what the interview is for. You have made some mention of your background and whatnot. So what was going on in your life personally at the time when you actually ended up joining the group?
Okay. So in 1979, I was a year out of high school.
Mm,
My mom died. She passed away,
mm.
cancer.
Sorry to hear that.
I was a college kid. I was going through the whole fraternity hazing leading into
Mhm.
it. I became a member of a fraternity.
Right.
Um, it was good time, but it was a tough time dealing with my
Mhm.
mom's death.
Mhm.
She died in September of 79, but by April of 80 is when I came in contact with the Yahweh Ben Yahweh fella.
Mhm.
Home life was not good. My father raised me, but he was not hands-on. He was very abusive and
Right.
standoffish, and we had no relationship whatsoever. None. Zero.
Mhm.
Through my
Mhm.
whole 18 years of living in this house. There's no pictures of us, no nothing. So I didn't
Mhm.
have a father I could have talked to and maybe
Mhm.
convince me otherwise.
Right.
So I was kind of left to my own. And finding Yahweh, finding this guy was, to me, I just thought that I had hit the jackpot of life, of
Yes.
paradise. And I
Mhm.
went head on.
Right.
Once I went to my first class, I straightway dropped out of college. I had a little job. I worked a little bit and I ended up quitting my job.
Mm.
I was consumed with
Mhm.
understanding. I went to the library because I had never heard of the name Yahweh either. I never heard of
Right.
it.
Yeah,
Never.
because that's an Old Testament that's a whole Old Testament concept of God. And to be
Mhm,
quite honest with you, like I know particularly because I come from the church too. They weren't talking about uh God in the Yahweh sense back then. It was
mhm,
Jesus, 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 and it's all good. They would say Father God, and they would say His Son Jesus. They never spoke in the language, the Old Testament language, like you're saying. So
mhm.
I would imagine to you coming from a church family and you hear this Yahweh, who is this Yahweh? It
Yeah,
would arouse, some type of curiosity, like you said.
yeah,
And I do know that most of these cults they hook you through identity, belonging, and certainty.
yeah,
Those are features that I know to be part of cults. So
yeah,
so I,
absolutely.
go ahead. So let me ask you this. So were there's like rules about how you dress, how you spoke, how you live? Like, did the group have like control of where you lived, who
Mhm.
you associated with, all those type of things that we call like these control types of things? Did they have those kind of mechanisms in place over there?
Yeah, at a certain time they did. In the beginning, it was come as you are, of course. They
Right.
didn't care about how you dressed or nothing like that. But
Hmm.
once you committed, once you were known as a Hebrew Israelite, we
Hmm.
started with wearing like more African outfits like dashikis and kufis like the Muslim.
Right. Yeah.
Um, but about a year a year and change into me being a member, we
Mhm.
bought a building. We
Mhm.
actually bought a big warehouse.
Mhm.
Now, the next thing, he wanted some people to become full-time workers to run it, the daily operations. And he
Okay.
pegged me and my wife, now we're married, he
Right.
pegged us, asked us if we would like to work full-time for Yahweh.
Man.
I was a little reluctant. My wife had
Mhm.
already said yes, so I kind of went along with it.
Right.
Even though I'm the one that brought her into this
Mhm.
Hebrew Israelite situation. So
Mhm.
we joined. So we quit our jobs, we quit college, we quit everything. We had our daughter. He delivered my daughter. My daughter was the first uh, child born in the nation of Yahweh. He did, he
Okay.
he delivered him and midwives. They delivered my daughter. So we
Mhm.
moved in. We moved
Mhm.
into the temple,
Mhm.
and well, first we renovated it. And at that time, we actually had carpenters and plumbers, and we had an architect. We had all the skilled folks to go from abandoned warehouse to make it a livable space. And
Wow.
of course, it was in a commercial zone, which
Mhm.
means you're not supposed to live in those kind of buildings.
Right.
But we were living in them.
Mm.
And once we began to live in them,
Mhm.
the screws started tightening about things. You Once you became a full-time worker, of course, you
Mhm.
worked for free. Um, you ate one meal a day, which consisted of
Mm.
beans and rice, bread and
Mm.
water. That was it.
Mm.
And that was a
Wow.
7 day a week diet. Um, Clearly, we lost a lot of weight. The beans
Yes.
and rice diet.
Mhm.
Um, we all had chores and jobs. My job was I began to work in a printing press. We had printing
Mhm.
equipment, so I learned how to run printing press. And
Mhm.
every man had a 2 hour guard duty. Those of us that lived in the temple,
Mhm.
so we had these little rooms that were called offices because we weren't supposed to be living in those buildings.
Mhm.
So somewhere between 2 and 4, whatever, someone would knock on your door. I got to get up. I got to go to the front and just sit at
Mhm.
the front door. There's a big
Right.
window and watch the street.
Right.
Uh,
Okay.
so yeah, there were rules.
Yeah.
And different rules.
Yeah. Yeah, and like I said, it sounds like a very much like a high control group, which these
Mhm,
cults become.
mhm,
And I use this thing called the bite model.
mhm.
Dr. Stephen Hassan, an ex-cult member himself, where he talks about behavior control, information control, thought control, and emotional control. So I mean, it sounds so far, everything you're saying leads me to believe that all of those things were in play
Absolutely.
when you were
Yeah.
over
And then,
there.
one of the main things that cults do is they monitor your time. Like you
Yes,
like you have the only time you have is free time is when it's time to go to sleep.
that's right.
And that's like 4 or 5 hours and you're up.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly. Yeah.
so and once they do that, of course that cuts into things like your sex life. Here
Hmm.
you are
Yeah.
with in your 20s, a beautiful young wife, sex pretty much it goes out the window, you
Yeah.
know. And
Yeah.
then they teach things like sex is only for procreation.
Mm.
So you stop the natural affections between a man and a woman if
Until it's
you ain't
time to
trying to
have a
make a
baby.
baby.
Wow.
So
Incredible.
sex is far and few. Your time is
Right.
controlled. Uh, you have your
Unless you're
time
the
to go
leader. Unless you're the leader, you can have all the sex you
unless you're
want.
the leader, right?
Right. Bro,
Yeah.
I remember when I was a part of the code I was in, I that part you talking about, this man, he had me working at the church, like as security, like overnight.
Mhm.
And my family went home with him. My wife and my kids went home with him. I had to ask this man for permission to be with my wife.
Yep.
And that's when my antennas went up. And I was like, wait a minute, how does this man have control over my life? Something wrong.
Yeah.
And that's when God started waking my brain up to it's time to get out of here. So I understand 100% what you're talking about there, brother.
Right.
So
Well, yeah. For me,
we go ahead.
well, I was gonna say, for me, when it comes to the sexual dynamic, what he did with me was he sent me away. He sent me away to Newark, New Jersey, to start a new temple. And while I was away, he crept into my wife's bedroom, unbeknownst to me.
Right, of course.
I didn't know it while I was there.
Right. Yeah. Of course. Because that's what these type of dudes do, man. So I'm gonna play another clip. I'm gonna play a clip that now on this clip, there's gonna be a gentleman that you might know on this clip, but we're gonna give us some more insight into what happened, and we're gonna talk about more into what happened concerning the ending of this gentleman's career. I'll say that.
You didn't have any free time. Yahweh Ben Yahweh exercised lots of control on life. He even regulated our sex life because he taught something called brothers class. He told the brothers the only time you should want to have sex with a woman is if you're trying to make a baby.
You just said that.
He pitted the sexes against one another. He teased us and said, a lot of you all are nothing but chumps. So you held off, you put those emotions and feelings off because you wanted to prove to Yahweh and to prove to your wife that you weren't a chump. We go weeks and months without having sex. But I stayed a full-time member with the Yahwehs because I believe it. I believe, everything was good. As I know now, Yahweh Ben Yahweh was exploiting the whole sexual dynamic for his own gain because Yahweh Ben Yahweh was having sex with single women and married women. In hindsight, I found out that he basically wanted my wife. Yahweh Ben Yahweh was not the holy man he said he was.
All facts. All facts.
I had no idea that what the content. I didn't know that content. I'm gonna be honest with you. I just seen your face on the thing. I said, let me play this clip. We just got through talking about all that. Right. See, so you just verified your own self. Right. Everything you said was 100% accurate.
Yeah, my so nobody consistent.
Go ahead. Yeah, 100%. 100%. So just so folks in the audience, because you do have some people that that will kick back and say, oh, he just making it up or yada 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 yada. No. This little interview that you did, that was what? How long ago was that?
That was from, well, I've done 6 national TV shows, so that's one of 6. That was 2018.
Okay.
17, 18.
Okay, got you.
Did it say the Oxygen Channel?
That's the Oxygen Channel. Yeah, that's where I got it from. Yeah, because I know they did a major documentary on it. That was one of the first ones I actually saw.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
That's 2018.
2018. So that's the verification of everything that we just got through saying. So let me ask you this question. So we're getting to the violence and all that stuff. We'll get into that stuff later. So what were the teachings? Where were the teachings that where you say you in your mind you was like you heard some teachings and you was like it was questionable to you. You started questioning what you were seeing, what you were hearing. What were the teachings that were going on when inside your head you were like, I don't know if this is right? What was that?
Believe it or not, it wasn't the teachings that drove me away.
Oh, okay.
It was more of the lies and hypocrisy that I saw. As far as the doctrine, I could get with him being God. I could get with Black people being the chosen Hebrew Israelites of the tribe of Judah. Yes. I had no issue with that.
Right.
I could get with the white man as the devil, even though I was not a racist or prejudiced person. I had great white friends growing up.
Right.
That was kind of par for the course to accept these kind of extreme teachings. Even though I had great white friends, and even though I lived in the deep South in Miami, I never experienced racism that I remember.
Yeah.
My best friend was a white guy, but the
Yes.
first best friend I ever had was a white guy, older, bigger than me, and a protector of
Mhm.
myself.
Yeah.
So I accepted the white man, the devil stuff in the context of the history of the slave trade and slavery and
Right.
understanding that picture and
Yeah.
understanding that white people have been kind of, they decimated the Indians, they
Right.
robbed Africa, so I could get with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It wasn't personal.
right.
So
It would be like you said. It would be easy to adopt that in light of the actions of them evil men. I mean,
yeah,
this just say it for what it is. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
yeah,
The
I can see how
theology was
you.
fine.
Right, right. Exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
as far as you knew, you was like, "Oh, well, hey, it is what it is." So tell me about that break then. Tell me about the break when you started saying, "Hey, this well, I don't know how I'm feeling right now." Talk about that.
So when I realized that I was in a cult, in a
Mhm.
world of you know what,
Mhm.
I came back from Newark. I was gone for a year. I came back, and shortly thereafter, I used to live in the same building as Yahweh Ben Yahweh with my wife.
Oh, okay.
Now I've been told I got to go down the street to another building and live there in a dormitory style building with a bunch of, rusty butt dudes.
Mhm.
While
Right.
my wife was staying in the big house with
Mhm.
Yahweh Ben Yahweh.
Right.
And when it was, I'm here again, I'm 24 years old. I still
Mhm.
love my wife. I still want to be intimate. I had to sign up. They had a room called the conjugal room. We
Mhm.
used to call it the conjugal room, but it was the conjugal room
Right.
for your sex visits. And my
Mhm.
wife did not want to come to that room. And the one time I remember her coming, we argued. We didn't have sex, we
Mhm.
argued.
Mhm.
And these are the beginnings of something ain't right in paradise.
Yes.
And then I began to, some things were happening where I was being accused of some things that I was innocent of. Little things
Mhm. Mhm.
that Yahweh Ben Yahweh from the pulpit was calling me out. And I'm thinking, this man is God,
Uh-huh.
but now you're lying.
Yeah.
So now I'm starting to go, uh-oh,
Now it ain't
maybe
adding up.
it ain't adding up. Now, the summer of 84, Yahweh Ben Yahweh went on a national tour. We had like
Mm.
a bunch of buses, and he took about, I don't know, 50, 60, 70 people all around. We went to a lot of the major cities from here to New York to uh, St. Louis, Kansas City, Atlanta. We went all over speaking. Well, we
Mhm.
would we would go in the city, pass out literature, and a day or so later, he would have an event at one of the auditoriums, and he would speak. Basically, he was proselytizing and trying to gain new followers.
Mm.
It
Okay.
was on that trip that I really knew I was on my way out.
Mm.
Um, I was doing a lot of crazy things. Me and two other brothers, we were collecting Yahweh money, donations, and spending them ourselves, doing things like going to McDonald's and things that were just off limits. We don't eat
Mm.
McDonald's.
Right, right.
Um,
Yeah.
we were just doing a lot of crazy stuff. We went to the Bonner Brothers fashion hair show in Atlanta
Mhm.
because we were in Atlanta.
Right.
But the straw that broke the camel's back was we were in New Orleans on this same tour, and me and two brothers decided to go see Prince's Purple Rain, and it was
Mm.
premiered in '84, and I saw it down in the uh, where all the stuff is at, Mardi Gras
Yeah.
in New Orleans.
Right.
And that movie changed. That movie really was the thing that made me wake up.
Mm.
Basically, there was so much about the movie that went with my life, my father relationship
Mhm.
that Prince had with his father, these kind of things. And the fact that I saw life in the movie. He was
Mhm.
performing, singing, he was moving people, just the whole, I'm missing out on the world. is what I
Mhm.
began to think.
Right.
That movie kind of woke me up. But it would still take another year for me to pull the trigger and to walk away.
Right.
But I knew from that experience that it was just a matter of time. And of course, I want to take my wife and children. I got 2 children now. I
Yes.
want to take my wife and children with me. So I have to figure out that dynamic
Yes.
if she's gonna come
Right.
or not.
Right. Because he at this point I would imagine that he had some kind of control over her at this point, I'm guessing, right? Or maybe not. I don't know.
No, he had big time control. She
Yeah.
was a midwife, and they were really close to him. They had private
Mm,
meetings and stuff
right.
like that. One thing
Yeah.
that was known for us full-time workers is that women had more access to him than we did.
Mm,
I'll give you an
okay.
example. This is a crazy story. On Friday nights, they used to have a class called midwife class.
Mm,
Yahweh Ben Yahweh and women. He's
right.
training them to be midwives.
Hmm.
So one Friday night after the class, I'm sitting in the cafeteria studying, and my wife is there, and her cousin, who was a member, she was there. And they began to talk in whispers and hushes about something that had gone on in midwife class that I
Hmm.
wasn't privy to.
Right.
But it was annoying me because what I was hearing, they were talking about cucumbers and
Mm,
penis sizes. And this was the Sabbath, and I thought it was unrighteous conversation. And I
yeah.
was being annoyed by it.
Hmm.
And they were comparing, you know, pe- whose penis were they
Yeah.
talking about? It was just annoying.
Right. Right. Right.
And they were snickling and giggling. And so
Hmm.
after that conversation, I just kind of asked my wife, like, well, yo, what was that? What was that unrighteous conversation about? You're talking about dick sizes and stuff like. And she got up, she got mad at me, and we had a minor argument. You can't argue in there because because the walls. Yeah, you can't.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was
Paper
just a
thin.
little back and forth.
Everybody gonna know your business if you get too
Everybody
loud.
gonna know. Well, she makes a beeline. I don't know where she going, but she leaves the
Hmm.
room.
Hmm.
She goes to Yahweh Ben Yahweh and tell Yahweh Ben Yahweh that basically I'm messing with her. So okay, all right. So we go to bed about 11 o'clock at night. All the lights in the temple come on, and people are knocking on doors. There's an emergency meeting in the cafeteria. Okay,
Hmm.
I'm thinking, okay, whatever, whatever. I don't know what's
Hmm.
going on.
Hmm.
So we're all in there, about 50 of us, men, women, and children. And for some reason, my wife is not sitting next to me. She's
Hmm.
sitting across the cafeteria over there. Okay. Yahweh Ben Yahweh has his bathrobe on, and he starts out talking about how wonderful it is to be a Hebrew Israelite and how people are coming to Yahweh in droves. And we're just sitting there like, praise Yahweh, good thing.
Hmm.
And then Yahweh Ben Yahweh walks over to me, stands beside me. I'm sitting in the chair,
Hmm.
puts his hand on my shoulder
Hmm.
and says to the crowd,
Hmm.
what do you think about a brother who's worried about penis sizes?
Oh, oh man, what?
I know I'm mud in Israel.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Oh man.
my wife did ratted and snitched on me about that little conversation.
Right, right.
And from there, everybody laughed except me.
Yeah,
So they knew,
right.
plus he was standing next to me.
Yeah,
Everybody knew
yeah.
he's talking
He
about me.
yeah, he busted you out in front of everybody.
And then it got worse.
Mm.
He said, stand up. My name was Yehuda,
Hmm.
which is Judah.
Yes.
Stand up, Brother Yehuda. So I stand up. He says, I want you to try to sit down in that chair. So I sit down in the chair. He said, stand up. He said, I didn't say sit down. I said, I want you to try to sit down. My dumb ass, I sit down again, not understanding whatever point he's trying to make.
Right.
So then I stand up again and say, see, you've been violating the rules for a while now. I wasn't. I wasn't. And then he turns to his number 2 person. Her name is Sister Judith.
Mhm.
And says, where's that paddle that Brother Yehuda gave us? I gave the cult my fraternity paddle
Right. Right.
when I became a member
Right.
of the
Right.
cult.
So that's the one they use for the group.
They used my paddle. And then he says, he made me bend over a chair and he made every woman, female, girl who can walk line up, starting with my wife.
Mm.
So women from the grandma from 80 to the little girl that was 5 years old all got 3 licks on my ass
My goodness.
over this little
this little
tiny
tiny little,
conversation.
wow. Incredible, brother. That's
And
crazy.
started with my wife.
Mm.
And I could tell by the way that my wife swung that paddle
Mhm.
that she regretted.
Yeah,
She didn't mean it to go here,
Of course, yeah.
but she had to go through.
True.
And she did her 3. She didn't like
Yeah.
they didn't hurt at all.
Right. She
And they
just get
really,
it.
most of them didn't hurt, but there's probably about 30 women times
Yeah.
3.
Yeah, man.
By the
That's
time we got to the end,
that's called cumulative.
yeah,
Right?
a cumulative effect.
Yes.
So by the time all the women, and the reason he said women and not men,
Mhm.
he said, I know you've been in a fraternity, and I know you know about hazing and hell night. You could
Right.
take it if it was men, but
Yeah.
I want to humiliate you. I want the
Mm.
women to do this.
Wow.
And I was humiliated.
Yeah.
And after that, everybody went to bed. The place went black, all the lights out. And I
Mhm.
lay there on the cafeteria floor, boo-hooing,
Mm.
out of being
Yeah.
just violated
Yes.
and made to look crazy.
Yeah. I
And I
bet.
cried and cried, and
Yeah.
then I heard a voice. It was my wife. She came. She said, "Come on, baby, get up. Let's go to bed."
Mhm.
And she took me in our little office.
Mhm.
And I got to tell you, we had some of the best. It's the Sabbath.
Yes.
We had some of the best.
I already
sex.
know.
We had some
Yeah.
of the most meaningful and
Yeah.
apologetic sex ever.
Yes. Yeah, I bet. That's a victory, brother. That's a victory, man. That's a
I
victory.
guess
Yes. Now let me
he was
know now.
apologetic the whole time.
That's good. Now you since we're talking about this punishment thing, now one thing I do know is that there were certain types of punishment that went on there because I know, because I know a little bit of like the history. So talk about some of you had to be privy to some of that. You had to be.
Yeah.
So tell me about some of the punishments that were enacted against members that weren't acting right or whatever you want to say. And then some of the reasons why that like the example for what you just did, something that minor
You
would
want
call
members or non-members?
members.
Members, okay.
Yes.
Everything from paddling. I was the first brother in the nation to get a paddling, and that was the story I just told you, 1981. But after that, there were paddlings all the time. There were starvation diets, a multitude of things. We actually had something called the Room of Understanding, aka the Valley of the Dry Bones.
Yeah, I
And
heard about that.
okay,
I do know about that a little bit.
and that
Yeah.
would be the thing that actually broke me.
Mm.
So there was a multitude of things could happen to you. A guy got caught sleeping on guard duty,
Mm-hmm.
threw a blanket around him, and then he beat him with sticks while he was under the blanket. He was just,
Mm.
he didn't know what was happening to him.
Right.
A lot of stuff was happening. And then you had the outside stuff that was going on.
Mm-hmm.
Started in 1981. I'll
What do
just
you
tell
mean?
you,
Yeah. What
in
do you mean by
19,
out? Yeah. What do you mean by outside stuff? What do you mean by that?
okay, so in 1981, when this guy that started out as Ak Moshe, when he became Yahshua the Messiah,
Mm-hmm.
there was about 15 people that broke camp
Mm.
that saw him going too far.
Mm.
And there was a leader of that group. His name was Carlton Carey, a Jamaican fellow who was pretty damn astute in the Bible. He
Mm-hmm.
was he was deep. He was heavy.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that he was Jamaican, I don't mean to sound stereotypical, but
Mm-hmm.
it seems that brothers from the islands
Mm-hmm.
come off like they're more spiritual or
Yes.
religious
Yes.
than
Yeah.
brothers in
No, I get
America.
that. Yeah. 100%. I get exactly what you're saying.
I
Yeah.
could be wrong, but that's what I
No, you're right.
okay. I sensed that.
Yes.
And he wasn't having no parts of this man claiming to be Jesus, the Messiah.
Yeah.
So he left, and when he left, he took about 15 people with him,
Mm.
some heavy duty people and important people with him.
Mm. Okay.
And right away, Yahweh Ben Yahweh started teaching against them, calling those that left hypocrites.
Mm.
And he would go so far as to say that the hypocrites deserve death. They
My
deserve
goodness.
to be like, I think it's in the book of Job, you be like your own dung. And people will
Yes.
say, where is he? You know.
Mm.
And then he
My
would quote
goodness.
some of the stuff that happened under the leadership of Moses, how they would kill
Yeah.
people for whatever violations.
Right. Right. Right.
And
So he
he
used
had
that
us,
as
yeah, he
he,
went
he used that
headlong.
as justification. He used that as justification for his
Absolutely.
position. Wow.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then one day in November of 1981, one of those who had been deemed a hypocrite shows up to the temple by
Mm.
himself. We noticed that he was gone. His name was Ashton Green. I liked the fellow.
Mm.
Everybody liked Ashton Green. Another
Mm-hmm.
Jamaican fella with
Mm-hmm.
a loud, thunderous voice and a
Right.
smile. And I happened to be on guard duty when he shows up
Mm.
in the middle of the day. Now, I'm 5'6", 5'7". Back then, I was about 116
Mm-hmm.
pounds.
Mm-hmm.
He's 6 foot, 210. Big fella,
Mm-hmm.
strong. And I was by myself, and I knew who he was.
Mm-hmm.
So so when he came to the door, I greeted him. You know, I was on my guard. I knew that he was one of the hypocrites. And he asked,
Mm-hmm.
what did I want? I asked him, what did he want?
Right.
And he said, I want to speak with Ak Moshe in that strong Jamaican accent.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, well, he's not here because he wasn't. He wasn't here. We talked a minute and then he left. But he had a Bible with him and he left his Bible with me because I had
Mm.
searched him before he came in the building.
Yeah.
And he remembered that he forgot his Bible and he came back.
Mm-hmm.
But by the time he came back, the head of security, a 300-pound, 6'5" behemoth of a man named Enoch, was standing there asking me, what's going on?
Mm.
And I said,
Wow.
well, he came to see Yahweh, Yahweh Ben Yahweh. And when he came back to get his Bible, Enoch stepped to him and said, you want to see Yahweh Ben Yahweh? He said, yes, I want to see Yahweh Ben Yahweh. He said, wait right here.
Mm-hmm.
And he was head security, and he
Right.
told me, stay here with him.
Right.
And he leaves,
Mm-hmm.
and he comes back. with like 10 brothers.
Mm. Mm-mm-mm.
And he said, and immediately the 10 brothers surrounded him and began to walk him back. And I walked back with them.
Right.
I don't know where we're going just yet, but they walked him
Mm-hmm.
down these hot aisles,
Mm-hmm.
corridors, and then it became clear where we were going because I knew the layout of the building.
Yeah.
But about halfway going back, and here's the thing about the brother, in his arrogance, he was not afraid.
Hmm.
I mean, he had chest out. Yeah,
Yeah.
where's that?
Yeah. He
You
was just
know,
like, if this is it, let's go.
yeah. And about halfway back, the head of security tells me, and I don't ask no questions,
Mm-hmm.
just go to the side door. There's a side door that I had to go stand guard that
Mm-hmm.
leads out to a patio area, a garden
Mm-hmm.
area. It's just a fenced in area. And
Right.
there's some cars back there. Yahweh Ben Yahweh's car is usually parked back there, but he wasn't there.
Mm-hmm.
So I make a beeline. I go to the side door. I know where they're going now.
Mm-hmm.
If they continue back, they're going to a loading dock.
Mm.
There's
Amen.
nothing back there but cement.
Exactly. Yep.
And they go back there, and I'm on guard at the side door. And next thing you
Mm-hmm.
know, I hear the sounds of thumps and bumps,
Mm-hmm.
a little screams, and
Yeah.
a ruckus been going on.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Bumps and boop and boop, just moving around.
Yep.
And I gotta tell you, I'm scared. I'm
Yeah.
freaking out a little bit because
Mm-hmm.
so in my curiosity, I creep back there. I leave my post. I creep back just enough to get a glimpse of what they were doing.
Mm-hmm.
And what I saw was tragic.
Mm-hmm.
Hammers on head,
Mm-hmm.
feet stomping his body.
Mm-hmm.
They beat him up. He wasn't dead, but he was
Mm-hmm.
unconscious, and
Yeah.
it would continue to maul his body. And I
Mm.
shot back to my post.
Mm-hmm.
I remember eyes being watery, lips dry, shaking. But I had to have my composure because, hell, they could do me maybe if they thought I was being weak.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm standing by this side door, and next thing you know, they bring his body by, and I open the door and they go out. They have his head wrapped up in masking tape and some old green carpet that we
Mm.
used on our temple floors.
Right.
As he went by, I could hear him. I could hear the gurgling of trying to breathe.
Yeah.
I could hear him, that kind of
Mm-hmm.
thing.
Yeah.
And when I opened the door, the head of security, he had a Ford Galaxy, it's a big car, has a big trunk. They opened the trunk, they put him in the trunk. He and two other brothers, they get in the car. I see a machete put in the back seat, and off they go.
Mm.
The next day, the paper reports a man found dead, beheaded at the edge of the Everglades.
Yeah.
And we all know
Yeah. Who it
who
was.
did it.
Yeah.
We knew who it was.
Yeah.
That same night, that same evening, when Yahweh Ben Yahweh does come back,
Mm-hmm.
a couple brothers and myself, we go up to Yahweh Ben Yahweh outside, and they tell him what unfolded. And Yahweh Ben Yahweh goes, praise Yahweh, praise Yahweh. Yahweh is
Mm.
killing our enemies.
My goodness.
That's a quote.
My goodness.
And then that night, we had like a big pep rally.
To celebrate.
To celebrate. And that was the
My
first
goodness.
person
Yes.
to be killed, an ex-member. And the next night,
Mm-hmm.
two more who were his roommates, who were members, went to the authorities, to the police, because he didn't come home that night.
Right.
And then they read the newspaper, and knew it was their roommate.
Yes.
They go to the police. The police, they give them all the report. The police said, "Do you all want to escort home?" They say no. And when they get home, the cult is waiting for them, and they murdered the man, and they cut the his wife's
Face.
neck, severed, and leave her bleeding on the front lawn. She does survive, but the husband dies, who was the best friend of the one who was beheaded. The guy that was killed the second day was the leader of this group that left.
Yes.
And all this was planned and plotted by the group that I was a part of. Now, how did I feel about it? I liked those people that left. I thought they were friends of mine.
Yes.
But I had to roll with the program. How did I justify it? Lots of brainwashing about how Moses and Joshua and how they had to annihilate the Canaanites and those that worship the golden calf and the hypocrite and disbeliever,
Yes.
I had enough Bible in me to sustain me through that period.
Yes.
I didn't like it.
But you just accepted it as this is biblical going on.
I accepted it. It was traumatic, but I accepted it.
Yeah.
I accepted it.
Yeah.
And so there were other murders that happened, but those were like the things that really put us on the radar list of the police department and maybe later on the FBI.
Yeah. And I was going to talk a little bit about that too. So this is we kind of segueing into everything. We're gonna kind of go through this real quick, do a little bit of reading. I think reading is fundamental. I don't know how much of my channel you watch,
I do.
Dr. Amani, but that's one of the things I tell my people. Y'all got to read, man. Y'all got to read as Christians, as people who want the truth. We got to read, because that's beautiful, man. See, you know what I'm saying? That's good. That's good.
This is what you got on the screen.
Yes. You got the actual.
What you got on the screen is this here.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, you already know the contents. Well, of course you know the contents, my brother.
Well, I'm in it.
You was there live and important. Yeah, exactly. So just like you talking about this, and see, I love this, Dr. Amani, because this is verification. Everything that you're telling me is already in print or indented in a film somewhere or on the audio somewhere. There's something verifying everything that you say. So nobody can come behind this podcast and say, Khalil Amani was making that stuff up. You hear what I'm saying? That's why, because I'm a big person like that. Like I said, if you watch me, I tell people all the time, y'all come behind my work. Y'all check behind me. I want you to check me because I am responsible for the information that I give you. And I don't want to be wrong, because I got somebody that I'm accountable to. He holds me accountable for what I tell you. So if I'm telling you wrong, I've had to take down videos where I was wrong. So I don't have no problem doing that. You know what I'm saying? So that's why this magazine, People Magazine's 4 Things You'll Learn About the Murderous Nation of Yahweh on People Magazine Investigates Cults. It says Yahweh Ben Yahweh and the 15 followers, which you talked about, eventually were convicted on counts that included murder, attempted murder, racketeering, arson, and extortion. Says in October 1990, the mayor of Miami presented Yahweh Ben Yahweh with a key to the city in recognition of his local religious leaders' contributions to the region and his sect's efforts to revive impoverished pockets of the community. And so it says 1 month later, FBI agents slapped handcuffs on him and charged the former Hewlin Mitchell Jr., his real name actually, and his 15 of his followers with multiple counts of murder, attempted murder, racketeering, arson, and extortion. Despite links to crimes dating to 1981, when a decapitated body of a disgruntled former church member turned up in the Everglades, This is the exact person that you explained down to the T. Yahweh Ben Yahweh and the organization he launched in 1979, the Nation of Yahweh, eluded. Oh, we just jumped. What happened right there? It said, eluded criminal prosecution for nearly 10 years as its membership grew to a more than 20,000 across 45 states. As a follower confessed to 7 murders and then, after a follower confessed to 7 murders and then assisted authorities, investigators were able to expose the Nation of Yahweh as a cult of personality whose charismatic leader aggressively consolidated power in his secretive group by intimidating and brainwashing followers to the point where several were willing to kill for him. Now, I got a question. It says, after a follower confessed to 7 murders, who is this person right here?
Yeah, his name was Robert Rozier.
Okay, Robert
He was
Rozier.
a former NFL football player.
Right, yeah, I was gonna say Rozier. That sounds familiar in my mind when I heard that. Okay, so it's the same dude.
And he was my friend.
Oh, okay, all right.
And he was one of the other guys that went to see Purple Rain with me in New Orleans.
Oh, got you. Okay. Let's see. I'm gonna skip down to a little bit of this. I want to go to let's see. I'm gonna go down to this part. Where's the part that I said? Okay, so we're gonna call this is the first for right here. His first victims were those who challenged his authority, and that's where we're right where we were supposed to be. We just got through going through the story. As Moshe started to insert himself more and more into his teachings.
Hold on 1 second.
Yeah, okay, go ahead.
Did you see my name? Go back a little bit.
Where are you? Where is it at?
Go back.
There it is, right there.
Go back to number 2.
Number 2. Okay, I got you.
I think they interviewed.
Through forced circumcision, he demanded loyalty of male followers.
No.
In December, it's not there?
No, go. Okay, go back. Go. Okay, right? See what I said, number 2? Okay, yes. Yeah, okay, you're in the right one.
In one abrupt show of authority, Moshe made all the men line up and drop their pants. He wanted to see who was circumcised and who was not. Amani recalls that for those who were not, Moshe squatted in front of them and did the deed to them himself, one by one. The men's unwillingness to stop the violence showed their submission to his growing control. So this dude personally circumcised how many men would you say?
I don't know, 20, 30, 40.
Wow. Did it personally.
Yeah.
What was that like? I can't even imagine what that would be like.
I was there with just a bunch of penises hanging with blood everywhere.
Oh my goodness.
And screaming.
I bet. Wow. So he just did it raw. No. Y'all didn't get to drink no cognac before y'all did it or nothing. Y'all did just raw.
Raw. No anesthetic, none of that.
My goodness. Let's see. So let's say this continuing this story, it says Moshe was infuriated. He called the group the hypocrites. This is the same story we was talking about, and rallied his remaining followers to retaliate severely by killing them. I didn't think it would come to fruition. That's talking about you.
Yeah.
The former follower Amani says on the episode, I thought it was more hyperbole and sermon and preaching. So you really didn't think that nothing was going to come of that. You didn't think it was going to go that far.
Not at all.
Wow. So let's see. He learned otherwise when a member of the offshoot group returned to the Temple of Love on November 14th, 1981, demanding to speak to Moshe, who was away. He was escorted by a group of 10 men. This is exactly what you said, Khalil. Exactly what you said. Men to the back of the building, beaten with a hammer, and then loaded into a car carrying the temple's chief of security, who Amani saw grabbing a machete. According to the episode, the man's body and decapitated head later turned up in the Everglades. It was obviously a murder where they were sending a message. Former Assistant U.S. Attorney David D. DeMayo says in the clip above. So just again, verification of everything you said. This is in print from a major news organization confirming everything that you said, brother.
Yeah.
Everything that you said.
You know,
Everything that you said.
I always like to say that my story is arguably the most documented story of all the stuff we know that's going on with like Africa, Bambaataa, and all the other
Yes.
stuff. My
Right.
story is documented in mainstream media. I mean, you can fact check it.
Exactly. And it's easy to fact check. And you know what I'm saying? And so, but that's beautiful though. I love fact checks. You know, that's what I'm saying. We the
Let
fact
me show
check
you this
station
picture
over
real
here.
quick.
Yeah.
Here's a picture of me and Akbo Shea. That's me in the background.
Yes, sir.
And this picture was taken right after the beheading. And he's actually talking to the Miami Police Department while I'm standing back in back him as a guard. He's interviewing with the police on this photo right here.
Wow.
I just want to put that with that.
Incredible. Incredible, man. But we just really want to showcase what can happen in these high control groups. You know what I'm saying? And so when we're talking about the Hebrew Israelites, and a lot of these same types of positions and attitudes, we see them maybe not too as extreme yet, but we do have some cases. We have Joy Morgan in IUIC, you know, who was murdered by one of their members. We have Gerald, what was the name of that gentleman? Gerald, I can't remember his last name. He shot a transgender woman in the face.
Right.
Yeah, he was part of IUIC.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We have the situation where a bunch of Hebrew Israelites shot up a deli in Jersey. You know what I'm saying? We have a lot of violence connected to Hebrew Israelism today.
Right.
So
and,
we can't ignore that.
Right. And let us not remember that Martin Luther King's mother was murdered by Hebrew Israelites.
Yes.
From among the African Hebrew Israelites in Dimona. That group.
And 100%. And my thing, Dr. Amani, is that while we may not see a rash of murders and things like that, you are kindling anger toward other people every day, all day, every day. They come in these smoke rooms and YouTubes and podcasts, and they gender up what I call it hate baiting, where you're dangling hate for people, and when they take the hate, you harvest their trauma and use that as your fuel.
Yeah.
You go to things like you talk about the transatlantic slave trade, you talk about her hurt, you talk about her pain. You don't talk about healing.
Right.
Okay. You need them hurt. You need them angry, because that's what fuels your movement. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I'm having this conversation with you, because I want people to understand where this actually comes from, where it comes from. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
you're absolutely right. It takes pain and hurt and things that are going on in people's lives. One cult researcher says that we are all susceptible to the cult phenomenon. And when these times come, the cult is sitting there waiting for us, because they look to find the thing that's bothering you the most, and that's what draws you in. Because you know that there's this myth that people who join cults are weak-minded or illiterate or uneducated. That's not true.
100%.
There are
100%.
doctors in cults and policemen in cults and psychologists in cults. All types of people from all walks of life join cults.
Yes, 100%. And I've interviewed some of them on my channel, and I'm going to be honest with you. A couple of them brothers that I had, very highly intelligent brothers. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, these is dudes that, like, these dudes, like, if they went to school and got a degree, they could be teaching in a college somewhere. These brothers are highly intelligent. And I talked to them about that. I said, brother, so, you seem like, how was a intelligent brother like you? How did you get? And he laid it out for me. He said the one brother, Jordan Ortiz, that's his name. He said, look, he said they don't. He said it's not about. He just said what you said. It's not about your intelligence. He said exactly what you said. They found some trauma in me, and they played on that. And I bit and I went for it, and
Right.
that's how he got in. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so that's why I want to, like I said, that's why I enjoy these conversations, because it shows people, because my thing is about protecting my community, brother. I want to protect my community against what these cults are doing to our community. And that's why I value these types of conversations, brother. So once again, man, I thank you so much for being here, man. Let's see. How did this group, obviously they reshaped your identity, right? Like how did that happen?
Reshape my identity.
Yes, sir.
So I finally got out. Well, let me just quickly go over how I got out.
Okay, yes, do that.
1985, we had a quota system where we went out and passed literature, and you had to bring back a minimum of $10.
Mm-hmm.
And this particular day, I went out. Now, we had so saturated the ghetto, the hoods of Miami, $10 was hard to make, and I didn't make the $10. So when I got back, I was sent to what they call the room of understanding. It's basically the cafeteria converted into a torture chamber. And you go in there and you get on your knees. You know, you get on your knees and you just like you're praying, but you're on your knees, back erect, and you stay there for as long as they tell you to. Normally it takes about 7 to 10 minutes and you understand the punishment.
Yeah.
Because your knees go on fire. And then that pain travels up your back and everywhere. So when I go in there, there's probably 15 people in there for various offenses. People are crying, and guards are hitting people with sticks if they fall over. And so I was in there probably like 3 hours, never fell over, but that was my epiphany. I knew that once this ordeal was over, I was out.
It was done. Yeah.
I didn't care about my wife. What was going? I had to go.
Yeah.
And so after about 3 hours, and I was in extreme pain, but I held focus.
Yeah.
I always tell people, if you ever seen that movie Forrest Gump,
yeah,
and there's a part where Lieutenant Dan is in that rainstorm on the boat, and he's up there in the mask, and he's cursing God.
Yes.
Like, kill me, God.
Yes.
I don't care. That was
you.
Yeah, that was me.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't care. Because when I get up, it's over. And when they finally said get up, of course, all of the blood had gone out of my legs. So I had to sit there probably about 20 minutes before I could even stand.
My goodness.
But when I stood up, I went outside. It was like about 9 o'clock at night. I happened to see my wife doing something outside. She had one of my kids with her. I hugged my daughter. I hadn't been talking to my wife in probably 9 months. We were strictly forbidden to be seen together. But I walked up to her and said, "Hey, I got to go. I know you're not coming. I got to go. And please, could you not tell anybody? Give me a half-hour head start, because I didn't know what would happen."
Right.
So she said, "Okay." And so I began to walk like I was going back to the building that I was living in. And I hit a side street, and I took off running. I had on the full long robe, turban, and I ran out of that stuff. I pulled it off while I'm running. I don't know how I did it, but I'm lifting my robe up while I'm running. I had pants under it and a t-shirt. Threw that on the side of the road and ran until I got to a main street in Miami, 27th Ave. Bus came. I jumped on the bus. I ain't had no money. For some reason, the bus driver just waved me by. Like I didn't have to pay. He waved me by. And
It's as if he knew that you needed it. This brother coming out of something. Come on in here.
Absolutely. I
Praise
went and
God.
sat on the back of the bus. Now we're down in what they call Brownsville, which is the hood with the temple.
Right.
And I lived in Carroll City, which is made famous by people like Rick Ross and Pretty Ricky. They all came out of Carroll City.
Right.
And a gang of football players. But I cried all the way to Carroll City. And then I got off, didn't know where to go. I slept in an abandoned car that night, and that was the end of my ordeal. Okay, we got that out the way. That's how I left.
Yeah. Wow.
That's how I left.
So that's interesting, and I just thank God that you got out, man. You know, because that situation which you was in with all that going on, you could have very easily been lost as well.
Yeah.
You know, but so what was rebuilding your life? Go over that part. Just you know what I'm saying, what was it like literally, because I'm guessing you said you didn't have no money. You're literally starting from zero, right? What was that like? What was the process of starting from zero and building back up again?
Okay. Yes, I started from zero. I started so much from zero that I had to have my identity even changed. So I wasn't born Khalil Amani. I was born Lloyd Clark.
Wow.
Okay. And so when I got out, of course, most people that get out of cults, they want to try to move on with their life. They want to start over, want to rebuild. Right. They want to forget the nightmare of the past. They want to move on. And that's what I wanted.
Yes.
But I was kind of a marked man. I would see the Yahweh people in the neighborhoods and in the malls. I even saw them at a Luther Vandross concert. And everywhere I would see them, they gave me the death look. They gave me the mean mug and the ice grills. They gave me the "we will kill you if we catch you in the right spot."
Right.
It didn't help that I started dating a white chick.
Oh boy.
That goes against all.
Now you dating the devil's daughter.
Bam.
Right.
I started dating a fine white girl. And I remember being at the Luther Vandross concert with her. Now, as a side note, Yahweh Ben Yahweh's first cousin is a member of the group known as the Cornelius Brothers and Sister Rose. They had two good hits out. Treat Her Like a Lady. Remember that song?
Yes.
And Too Late to Turn Back Now.
Yes.
I believe.
Falling in love. Yeah.
Okay, that's Cornelius Brothers. That was Yahweh Ben Yahweh's first cousin, and he was friends with Luther Vandross. So I happened to go to a Luther Vandross concert, and I see about 15 white sheets with turbans. I'm like, what are they doing here? And I see his name was Carter Cornelius. And he was going backstage, and he knew
rubbing
Luther.
elbows. Yeah.
But they saw me. And I'm fly. I'm rocking
with the white girl. They saw you with the white girl.
They saw me with the white girl, flexing and stunting, and I got the Jerry curl.
Right.
I'm Jerry down. I'm flossing.
Right.
But so I always had them looking at me sideways. And then I joined. Well, I went back to the junior college. I re-enrolled, and you might not know this, but I used to be a dancer.
Oh.
Since I was like 12.
Oh, okay.
Ballet, jazz, modern. I did it all.
Awesome.
I was a real dancer.
Yeah.
And that's where I met the white girl. She was a ballerina.
Oh, okay.
But while I was there, I was asked to give an interview about being in the Yahweh cult. It was a friend of mine who was a journalist major that said, "Oh, I want to write about, And I gave her an interview. It was very cheesy. I didn't talk about none of the stuff that we're talking about. It was
Right.
very general.
Right.
And when I said I left because of hypocritical leadership, I was very, I didn't do no talk about no deaths, nothing.
Very, very vanilla, right?
Yeah. But that
Very vanilla.
article, of course, got back
Mm-hmm.
to the Yahwehs.
Mm-hmm.
That's the first article,
Yeah.
which put me on the hit list. Even though
Yeah.
I didn't go crazy,
Right.
but the fact that I would say hypocritical leadership and a couple other things,
Yeah. Yeah.
that was in 86. I was 26 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And then a couple of things happened. There was an apartment building in Opelika, a little part of Miami, where the Yahweh members had bought the building, bought the apartment complex, and went over there in the same day and told everybody they got to go.
Mm. Oh, I remember this story.
Yeah,
Yeah, go ahead and tell this because it's a very interesting story.
yeah.
Go ahead.
They bought the apartment complex. Um, Mostly single mothers, welfare recipients,
Mm.
hood chicks lived in there.
Yeah, yeah.
Single mothers with kids.
Mhm.
They went and knocked on the doors and say, "We own these apartments. Y'all
Yeah.
got to get out."
Yeah.
And people were saying, "I just paid my rent," or "Where's the eviction notice?" or whatever.
Right.
And there were two brothers that were caught on camera on the local news saying they're not getting out. And one of the brothers said, "F Yahweh"
Mm.
on camera.
Mm.
And that was his death sentence.
My
And that
goodness.
night, the guy you mentioned earlier about the 7 murders,
Mm-hmm.
he went back and he murdered both of those guys that were on camera.
Wow.
So that was one incident that shook me.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, being an ex-member now, I know that's the MO, the
Yes.
modus operandi. And I
Mm-hmm.
know that they got my number
Right.
because I'm out here talking to media.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes.
And then there was another incident up in Delray Beach where there was a scuffle between the cult members and the local people.
Mm-hmm.
And they came back and they firebombed the whole black neighborhood and burned a black baby.
Oh Lord.
And you can Google
Wow.
this stuff. And it is this incident that made me make a life-changing decision. And that was somebody has got to speak up and speak out. They've gone
Yeah.
too far.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
And I knew that my time was coming. And that they're gonna get me. They're gonna do me.
Yeah.
Because I knew about the beheadings. I knew the secrets.
Yeah, because you was on the inside. I
I was on
mean,
the
you
inside.
come up from the beginning, you was on the inside. So
I was considered one of Yahweh Ben Yahweh's spiritual sons.
yes, sir.
That's why the picture you see me standing behind him.
Yeah. Because it was a privilege for you to be in that circle, for you to even be that close to him.
Absolutely.
That said something about you.
Absolutely. I was an insider.
Mhm.
I wasn't on the fringe.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
And
100%.
so after the firebombing, after the apartment, they kicked 137 families out in one day. And then the firebombing happened maybe a little bit later. I made a decision. And that decision was, and I had to think about it because, we hear about street codes and no snitching. And,
Mm-hmm.
you hear about rats and snitches and breaking codes. And
Yeah.
I also have a general understanding of the crimes of the FBI. I know their background. I know that they were influential in bringing down black leaders and black organizations and
Yes.
COINTELPRO.
COINTELPRO.
Got the
Yes.
books on my shelf. All that
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah. Right.
I understand it all.
Mm-hmm.
I'm between a rock and a hard place.
Right.
But I made a decision that I was going to go to the FBI the morning after I heard about the black baby being burned.
Yeah.
And I got in my car and I drove down to the office on Biscayne Boulevard, walked into the office. I was afraid. I ain't gonna lie, I was afraid. Mind you, I was there when they beat up that guy and then he was decapitated. I was complicit.
Yeah.
I
Yes.
was complicit.
Right.
But I was of the opinion now that my life mattered not. And I'm gonna do what I gotta do.
Right.
And I walked into the FBI office, walked up to the mirror. There's a second floor, glass mirror, bulletproof, of course.
Mm-hmm.
White ladies asked me what I want, and I was a little apprehensive because she was white.
Right.
But I said Yahweh. And when I said Yahweh, her
Mm-hmm.
whole situation changed.
Mm-hmm.
She said, have a seat. I
Because they
waited
had
there.
all. I'm guessing because they had already been checking. He'd already was on the radar at this point,
They
right?
were on the radar.
Yeah.
But the
That's what I
thing
thought.
is, they had nobody amongst the group. I found out
Yes.
later on that about 3 or 4 months prior to me, they had put an FBI agent in the group. Hell,
Mm,
he was 4 or 5 years too late. He wasn't getting close to Yahweh Ben Yahweh.
right. Right. Yeah.
So I was the first
Mm-hmm.
member that stepped to the FBI.
Mm-hmm.
And I waited, and lo and behold, a black agent came out, 6'7", 6'8". He used to play. He was on the Panama Olympic basketball team.
Hmm.
Herb Cousins, Agent Herb Cousins.
Okay.
Yeah, let me show
Okay.
you. I'll show you him right now. You can see him right now. To give you some context. This is in context, right?
That's right.
Okay. Here he is right here.
Oh, okay.
The black
Oh,
guy.
yeah. Yes, sir.
That's who
Okay.
that's who I first that's who debriefed me and brought me back in his office.
Mm-hmm.
And we had an 8 years of going back and forth to, deal with the FBI. His name
Wow.
is Herb Cousins.
Herb Cousins.
Yeah.
Awesome.
He's writing a
Yeah.
book right now, actually. I'm helping him write it, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Outstanding.
We're in contact.
You gotta let me know about that because
I
that's
will.
inside stuff right
I
there
will.
for sure, man.
And he got the real,
Oh, I bet. Yeah.
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 The stuff
It would be. Yeah, it would be great to have him on.
yeah,
That I mean, if that's possible, I
I'll
don't
make
know
it
if it
happen.
is.
Don't worry, I'll make it happen.
Okay, I appreciate that.
Um,
Go ahead, man. Continue your
but
story.
so he would take me in his office and he would debrief me. And he didn't read me my Miranda rights or nothing like that.
Mm-hmm.
Clearly, he was setting me up to be a
Mm-hmm.
government informant, to be a confidential informant.
Right.
And again, uh, I was a little apprehensive to speak with him.
Right.
And I actually brought up things like COINTELPRO, and I don't know what
Yeah.
I was trying to do, but I think I wanted him to know that I wasn't a dummy, that
Yeah.
I knew about J. Edgar Hoover and some of the things that they have been
The
involved with.
shady stuff. Yeah, you let him know. I know y'all shady. So
Yeah,
what we doing here?
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Let's get all our cards on the table.
yeah,
Yeah, type of thing, right?
yeah. And then the
No,
fact they sent a brother instead of a white
yeah.
man.
Yes,
I see the
exactly.
game. I mean, I talked about Martin Luther King and Huey Newton and Leonard Peltier and
Yeah.
AIM and
Yes.
SNCC, and I was running it down, letting them
Yes.
know I'm here, and, and,
Yes.
and I want to tell you some things,
Yeah.
but I need to know if y'all gonna bullshit me or
Yeah.
if there's
Yeah.
gonna be some
Exactly.
loyalty.
Right. Yeah.
What we
Yeah.
really doing?
Exactly. Yeah.
And he gave me a really good spiel that was convincing enough for me.
Mm-hmm.
He told me what the goals of the FBI were and whatnot, and then uh, he made me feel comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
And he was a brother too,
Right.
and I began to cooperate.
Mm-hmm.
And I walked out of there maybe a week later. I think they gave me back in the days we had beepers. There were no cell phones.
I remember the
They gave
beepers.
they gave me a beeper.
I'm
They
telling my
wanted me to,
age now.
yeah, they
I'm
wanted me to be. They wanted to know where my whereabouts. So
right.
um, I had a code name. It was El
Mm-hmm.
Indio or the
Right.
Indian.
Uh-huh. Okay.
I don't know. Movie stuff.
Yeah.
But I would begin. But in my naivete,
Mm-hmm.
I thought that what I would say would get him arrested quick, fast, and in a hurry.
Right.
But it wasn't that quick.
Mm-hmm.
I went in 86. He wasn't arrested until 91.
Mm. Wow.
But I was able
Long
to bring a
process.
lot of people to him.
Yeah.
I was able to be, ex-members that I was
Yeah.
talking to.
Hmm.
And, once I
So,
felt them out, felt I could trust them.
hmm
And I don't think I was wrong on any of the people that I brought. When I stepped to them,
hmm
they were down to speak with the FBI.
Right. So you was bringing them people from the inside to get the information.
Yeah,
Look, this is what's happening. This is what I've seen.
yeah.
Yada yada yada. Okay.
Ex-members.
Ex
that were-
members. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
They had to come out.
yeah. And
So,
so yeah, it developed. Like I said, I at some point I was feeling like the FBI, what's going on? It dragged on
hmm
for 8 years or so. I
hmm
was back and forth in the FBI. And then they advised me to leave town. I had to leave town because their intelligence said that I was on the hit list and they were actively looking for me.
Right.
Now, by then, in 1988, I gave a national TV show interview on CBS. The show was called West 57th Street. And that interview
West
is on
57th
YouTube
Street.
right now.
I'm gonna look
Uh,
it up after this.
I was
West
28
57th
years
Street.
old. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
on there
yeah,
now.
yeah. Okay.
Um,
Okay.
and that interview, which was a national, it came on right after Cops on Saturday night. And they did a segment where they juxtaposed my story with Yahweh Ben Yahweh's story. Like
hmm
I was talking about the things I've talked about, the beheadings, and
hmm
they interviewed Yahweh Ben Yahweh, and he said it was ridiculous.
hmm
Do you know of any heads floating around America? I mean, he was really animated with it.
Right.
And then they brought me on. So that was really the coup de grace. That's the time they really knew that I was on a mission. Now, of
hmm
course, the FBI in 88, they did not want me talking to national TV, but
Right.
I was my own man.
Because you
And
was because they wanted you to. They would rather you stay on an undercover basis,
Mhm,
to protect you and to keep you, information coming.
right,
Of course, right.
right.
So,
But the reason that I did the TV show was I thought that by keeping my face open
hmm
would keep me out of harm's way. And I'm
yeah,
here
yeah,
today.
yeah, yeah.
But
No,
that was
that's
my
brave.
that was
No,
my
that was
thing.
brave, brother. That took it took hard to do that, bro. It really, I would say it was basically you came out and you was like, look here, man. I'm gonna tell this story. I don't care if y'all looking at this. Somebody, and like you said, somebody has to do it. And
Somebody
to
too.
me, brother, for you to do that says a lot about you. You know what I'm saying? The
Right,
fact that you saw, like you said earlier, you said somebody has to do this. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people they would just keep it to themselves because I know ex-members that leave cults and they just go into isolation and they don't share anything.
right,
You don't find out till years and years later, and they start sharing and whatnot, what happened. But in the meantime, other people have gotten hurt. You know what I'm saying?
right,
Because they don't have the information. But and that's why I say shout out to you because it was actually very big of you to put yourself in the scope. You know what I'm saying? You seen what they did firsthand.
right.
You know what I'm saying? You seen it live and in color, like Technicolor. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So for you to put yourself in harm's way, to quote unquote free others says a lot, man. And
Well, thank you. I appreciate
and my
that.
head is off. My head is off to you, my brother. You know
Thank
what I'm
you. I
saying?
appreciate that.
And I'm pretty sure that and obviously your work was contributory to them bringing him to justice finally,
Oh yeah,
right?
thanks. Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So talk about
Um,
that.
yeah. So after I did what I was doing with the FBI, some of the strongest people, I wasn't the star witness when the trial.
hmm
They had a mass trial,
hmm
16 Yahweh Ben Yahweh and 16 others. Um, the star witness was this guy, Robert Rozier. But I think the strongest witnesses were his sister, his stepchildren, his nieces, and his nephews. They all testified against him. But of the 160 witnesses that were slated, I was the first witness. They brought me first. They used the prosecution and the FBI. They thought that they should open this case up with me because I was the first to come out, number one. And number two, I knew the theology. I was able to set the theology of the nation of Yahweh before the jury. They wanted somebody to explain the Hebrew Israelite theology, and I was pretty good at it. I knew it.
Yes.
And so I was the first of 160 witnesses to testify against Yahweh Ben Yahweh. And I was scared and I was nervous. I was afraid. They literally were sitting so close to me that 2.5 leaps, they could have been on me. And all 16 were there. But they also had a courtroom full of not ATF, US Marshals and FBI agents. And they all was strapped to the hilt.
Yes, sir.
So that so I testified probably for like 2.5 days. And after my testimony, I could not go back to my job because right before the trial started, they knew where I worked at, and they sent somebody to my job just to say, we know where you at. And so after the trial, 2 FBI agents escorted me back to my job to get my last paycheck and get my things. And they walked me out. Mind you, by the date of the trial, I had also done a major Sunday article for the Miami Herald. It was like a 4-page layout.
Oh, wow.
Huge layout.
Yeah.
My face on one picture, on one page, me, and now I'm married to the white woman. Me and the white woman hugged up, and it was a big expose. So it was all out by now.
Right.
So I left Miami and moved to San Diego, still under my birth name.
Right.
I just left. Now, to go back just a second, in 1986, the government offered to put me in the witness protection program. And I rejected it because what I thought I knew about it was like, they're going to have me in Montana on a farm somewhere.
Right.
And I just wasn't going for it.
Like you see in the movies.
Like the movies.
That was that was your idea, right?
That was my idea.
Y'all got me out here in Podunk, man.
Yeah.
I got to eat French fries every night for
Absolutely.
dinner.
And they didn't explain it to me, and I didn't ask for no explanation. I simply said no. I got me a 9mm Glock. I got me a concealed carry thing, and I walked around Miami and then California on some I wish a nigga would. I was just on that. I just kept my tuck.
Yeah. Got you.
But after that trial, to speed up things, in 1994, that was a federal trial, RICO, where he was convicted and got 18 years for 14 murders and some other stuff. But then they wanted to prosecute him for murder in state court.
Right.
And it's at this time in 1994 that I get a call from the United States prosecutor, Richard Scruggs, and he begs me to go into the federal witness protection program. The reason why is because the Yahwehs asked the courts for my whereabouts, and the courts granted their request.
Why?
They were coming to get me. I don't know.
Why would they? Well, why would the court do that though? What?
He said to me, I have to give your whereabouts to the Yahwehs. Clearly, it was a hit coming down the pipe.
Yeah.
They were not going to let me get on the stand on a state trial as I had done on the federal.
Right.
And Yahweh Ben Yahweh was on all out. Kill that nigga.
Wow. I'm just
And
trying
he,
to figure out. I don't understand why they would cooperate with that dude, though.
well,
I'm still trying to figure.
that's what I asked the prosecutor. Why? They know the reason they're coming to get me.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Because one thing I do know about the organization, they were very involved in the community. They were very entrepreneurial. You know, he used his charisma and all that stuff to connect into the. I don't know how far into the periphery he got as far as influence and stuff. So maybe he paid somebody. Maybe they paid somebody off there. I don't know, man. But that
Well,
just seems really over the top to me for them to
he
give
was
you up like
influential.
that.
They gave him his own day down there.
They gave him a day.
Yeah,
I know they gave him the key to the city, right? I know they gave him that.
both.
They
They
gave him a
gave him
day too.
they gave him the key to the city, and they gave Yahweh Ben Yahweh day.
Wow.
And he had the politicians in his pocket, a couple of them.
That's what
He
I'm
was actually
saying.
he was actually leaning Republican. So that was
Wow.
that. But
Yeah.
after that incident where I was called and implored to do this, I said, let's do this. And in April of 94, I had just finished my 2-year degree at a little college out there in San Diego Mesa College. I just graduated, and a week or so later, they picked me and my wife up at the time and whisked us away. They said, leave all your stuff. If you can sell anything with a social security or an ID, get rid of that. But be ready on this date. Don't pack a bag, just pack one suitcase. Leave all your furniture, leave everything. My wife was a registered nurse at the time, and
Mm,
we had to pick up and we
mm,
had to go.
yeah.
And so there was a time, there was a there was a 3 or 4 month period where I actually was not I had no name.
Yeah.
The first thing they did when they took us was they took all of our information, driver's
Mm,
license, credit cards.
hmm.
We were non-people. You might
Wow.
have seen that movie Eraser.
Yeah.
I think
Or
Arnold
Men in
Schwarzenegger.
Black. Men in Black, they did the same thing, didn't
There
they?
you go.
Erase your identity. Yeah.
Same thing.
Wow.
Eraser. And so we spent months jumping around from city to city in preparation to get a new identity. First thing they
Mm,
wanted to do was throw the Yahwehs off the trail that they were following.
right.
So we would be taken to an airport, not told where we're flying to, just follow us, men in suits. And we found out when we got to the gate, oh, we're going to Portland, and get off the plane and sit and wait. And more people walk up to you and take you to
Hmm.
another gate. Oh, we're in Seattle,
Hmm.
and get off the plane and sit and wait. And
Mm,
more agents come up and take us, oh,
wow.
we're in Minneapolis. So that went on,
Yeah.
and that was the beginning. Ultimately, they would fly us to Washington, D.C., to that airport, that Dulles,
Hmm.
and we were met by 2 more agents, and they were taken out of the airport, put in a van that resembles a sardine can because there was
Hmm.
no windows.
Oh
They put us in
boy.
the back and drove us around for about an hour, me and my wife.
Hmm.
And when they opened the doors, we were in an underground space.
Mm,
We
wow.
didn't know we didn't know if we were in DC or Maryland or Virginia,
Hmm.
tri-state
Right.
area.
Hmm.
But what we found out, we were at the witness protection headquarters.
Hmm. Okay.
That's where we were at.
Right.
And we went through, a bunch of locked doors, and they put us in an apartment. It looked like an apartment.
Hmm.
And the freezer had everything from lobster to steak in it, everything. And they said, you're going to be here for a while until we process you. There was even a patio. You can go outside and get fresh air. But the catch is there's a 30-foot wall. So all you see is the air, but you can't see over the wall. But
Right.
you know, if effectively we were in a jail.
Yeah.
We
Right.
were in a comfortable jail.
Right.
Because I
Wow.
went to the front door to go out, and it was locked.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they had y'all on lockdown for real.
We were locked down. And that's where we went from Lloyd Clark to Khalil.
Yeah. That's when they switched y'all up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Amen.
That's my story. And I'm
Praise
sticking with
God.
it.
Amen. Praise God, bro. Absolutely incredible story, brother. And like I say, I thank you for taking the time to come on to the show. And it's funny how I'm just telling a little story about how you and I met each other.
Yeah.
Let's tell that story real quick. So I'm just hanging out. I'm browsing my comments because I always try to respond to my comments on my YouTube channel. You know what I mean? Because my concern, like my community, is important to me. Then I see mentions over here. It says a mention. Somebody mentioned me. Who mentioned me? So I click on there, and it takes me to your channel. So I'm like, who is this dude? I don't even know this dude, right? So then you get on there and you commence to talking about the brother Carl. What's his name? What's that? I forgot that brother's name.
Israel
That's his
Doctrine.
channel. Yeah, Israel Doctrine. Yeah, Israel Doctrine. Well, because he came on my show. He came on my show, and that particular show was Prove You're an Israelite. And so I walked him through the questions of the biblical way of identifying yourself as an Israelite. If you're going to be an Israelite and be biblical, then you're going to have to do it the way they did it. That was my whole stick, right? So I walk him through, it got, tough for him. It got rough. He did what you do when you pressure them and ask them and keep them in the pot, you know what I'm saying, and keep the pressure on. He flipped out and I ended up kicking him. And he went on to make like 10 videos after that. 10 videos.
Yep.
Complaining, attacking me. And then he started linking me and you together. I'm like, what? I don't even know this dude. So I'm like, what is he doing? I don't even know this dude, right? So then I start watching your channel, and then you making videos, talking about, hey, he went on Jim Green's show. Jim Green held his feet to the fire. He got mad, blah, 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 and basically, that's how we got to know each other. Right. But then in the course, I went and I started watching some. I said, wait a minute, this brother came out of the Yahweh Ben Yahweh code. And then I went on the Oxygen documentary. I said, wait a minute, this is the brother right here. So that's how we know each other. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I tell that story to say, I appreciate how the circumstances brought us together, because now you get to share your story to another group of people that maybe didn't hear these things and don't know these things. And like I say, as a purveyor of information, I think it's important that people that are being influenced, because, Imani, people don't have to be in camps no more. You don't have to be in camps no more. You don't have to be stationed at people go online on YouTube. They at home, but they're influenced by these types of teachings and these type of people. You know what I mean? So that's why I think that's one of the reasons why I think the work that I'm doing is important. You know what I'm saying? And I do know that this affects your faith. It's no way it can't. There's no way it can't, because you know what I'm saying? You have to come to a certain place where, okay, now I'm gonna have to deal with, I thought that it was this way, but it's not. Right. So just talk about it real quick. How did this affect your faith, brother?
Yeah, it definitely affected my faith. My first response after leaving the Yahweh cult, I don't want to talk about God, religion, Bible. Screw all of that.
Yep.
I was in Miami being a player, running women, doing my
Yep.
dance thing. I was
Yep.
living life. Don't talk to me. Oh, and don't talk to me about black power, black this and black that.
Mm-hmm.
I was on some negativity. Don't
Yep.
talk to me about it.
Yep. Yep. I
Well,
hear
that
you.
lasted a couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
But probably about 3 years after leaving, I began to dabble and read
Mm-hmm.
different people,
Mm-hmm.
religious perspectives. Um, I began to read hardcore religion. And by 94, when I was 34 years old, I was a
Mm-hmm.
student at the University of Nebraska, and I was a religion minor. So
Mm-hmm.
now I'm reading, Bonhoeffer and Knitter
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
the works of Luther. I'm reading all the
Right.
great
Right.
religious minds.
Yes.
I stays in the religious section of the library at the University of Nebraska.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm reading heavy duty. I'm reading James Cone. I'm reading, you name it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm reading,
Mm-hmm.
I'm reading everybody.
Yeah.
And I'm studying world religion. Um, and now I'm finding myself back to God, so to speak, but not back to religion.
Got you.
Um,
Yes.
I'm put off. I'm put off by all organized religion.
Mm-hmm.
I do deep dives, as AI would say,
Mm-hmm.
into Christianity, and of
Yes.
course, the Hebrew Israelite movement. I deconstruct that. I even
Yes.
wrote a book. Where's my book? It's somewhere around here somewhere. Anyway, I wrote a book about everything we're talking about, and I have a chapter where I deconstruct Yahweh Ben Yahweh. I don't know where the book is.
Well, let me see that book. It's because
Yeah, yeah.
okay.
It's called, here, you can read it. It's called My Id. Ignorant. Id is a psychological word. My id. Ignorant and dysfunctional.
Yes.
Life in the Yahweh cult and the
Uh,
Witness Protection Program.
wow. Awesome.
So I
No.
wrote that book. Yeah.
So yeah. Where
But
can somebody get that book?
you can
Let me know.
order it at Barnes and Nobles,
Mhm.
Amazon. You can go
Do me a favor.
iUniverse.
Do me a favor. Send me the link send me the link where I can get it because I
Okay.
promote books all the time on there.
Okay.
And I think people need to, I mean, I know people have come, but I think people need to hear your story, brother.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So send me the link and I'll put it on my page so that
Gotcha.
people can access that information.
I'll do that.
And
That's not a problem.
yeah. And so I just want to say now I know that there's a period, you know what I'm saying, like you dealing with where you deconstructing, especially as deep as you were in. You know, it's been how many years now? 20 or 20 or so years since that
30.
whole incident? 30.
Oh no, it's just been, we're talking about the 80s. We're talking about 35.
For 35, almost 40 years. And I know, yeah. So, so I know that this is what I would encourage you to do, bro. Do continue to do what you're doing. You got books, bro. That right there says a lot right there. You read, you know what I'm saying? You can get revelation from reading, and you know this because
Yeah.
you're a reader. You got a library behind you. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And I think personally, I thank God for my mother. The real reason why I got this library is because when we were kids, my mother, she bought a set of World Book encyclopedias and Britannica.
Yep.
So we was the only kids on the block that had them.
Yeah, we
You know
had
what I'm
them.
saying? You
Yeah, we
did
had
too?
them.
Okay, see? That's it. This is a product of that because it encouraged me to be curious. And anytime I needed some answers, I could go. That was our Google back then. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? We could go and find answers in there.
Yeah.
And I think that in the midst of all this, brother, I've had brothers that have come out. I talked to brothers that come out of cults. That's what I do.
Mhm.
And many of them, they end up at the end of the day, they work their way through till they find their way back to the true God of the Bible. And that's my encouragement to you, brother. You know what I mean? But you already on your way, though. You're already on your way, bro. So,
Yeah.
so I just
that my religious beliefs are kind of way out there, but
I
I
know
respect.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I know this. I'm watching, brother. I'm
Okay.
watching.
But I
But that's
respect,
okay. Yes.
unlike the guy we were talking about earlier, that
Yes.
hates Hebrew Israelites.
Yes.
I have a son who's a Hebrew Israelite today. He's not
Okay.
a part of the camp, but he's a Hebrew Israelite.
Right.
But I respect people's autonomy and people and what they choose to believe in. I have no issue with it. Even though I go hard and I deconstruct and I bring in other sources that you never heard of, just to let people know that, there are some people who used to think like this. That's
Yes.
kind of what I do on my show. But it's no slight against Christians, Muslims, Jews, Israelites. God bless everybody. Live in your truth, find your purpose. I know that I have my own understanding of all these different faiths, and
Right.
I don't try to, years ago I was really crazy. If they would have caught me 20 years ago on some YouTube stuff, I'd have been a monster.
Yeah.
But at my age now, I just do a little bit. I have fun with this.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't try to convert nobody or change nobody. I just show
Right.
you information. Take it and do whatever you want to do with it. That's why I
Yeah.
appreciate your story, your stuff you do, because that
Yeah.
stuff you do on Catholicism and the church, and man,
hmm
that's hard. That's
Amen.
hard stuff, bro.
Yeah.
And
I
I'm
appreciate
right
that.
here with you.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I'm on my pursuit of truth too. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And that's why I bring out, like you say, sources and stuff that maybe everybody else don't have. You know what
Right.
I mean? And I'm not afraid to criticize people either, because
Mm,
I'm an equal opportunity criticizer. You're not going, if I feel like what you're doing or what you're saying is not lining up,
mm,
and I'm led to go after it, that's what I'm going to do. And that's it. You know what I'm saying? And I let people make their own decisions as to what you're going to do with that information.
absolutely.
So but this has been really, really powerful, man. This has probably been one of the best interviews I've had on my channel since I started it, man. It's been really good, man, getting to hear you and your story, man, and be a part of it, and you sharing it with my community. I'm even getting, people saying stuff like this right here, say this was truly a profound interview. So,
Mm,
so once again, man, I thank you very much for your time, brother. Man, God bless you, man. And make sure you make sure you give me the link to your book, bro, because I'm gonna
okay.
share it with my community. Because, like I said, these people that are in my community, they have people that are still in cults,
Mm,
and that's one of the reasons why they come here. You know what I mean? Because they know that they're gonna get information to help free their people, to possibly free their people from cults.
mm,
So that's
gotcha.
why I appreciate you, man.
Well,
And
thank you for having me. I mean, I've had a great time. And like I said,
yes,
I've done goo gobs of interviews. I've done 6 national TV shows, but I'm
yes,
always excited to share my story. I'm never looking down on, YouTubers who reach out, because
yes,
I'm here. I
yes,
don't
sir.
even, I don't push myself out there, but if someone
Yes,
asks me, I don't care how big or small you are, I'll give you an
yes.
interview, because I think it's something worth sharing. Uh,
hmm
Cult awareness and stuff like that. So
Yes,
I'm here. I thank you for having me. I had a
yes, sir.
wonderful time. Thank you to your
Yes,
chat. I'm gonna go back and
yes,
watch the chat later and see how they're
yeah.
dogging me.
Yeah, no, the chat love you, man. I'm just gonna let you know you ain't gonna find nothing in that verse over
Okay.
there. Hey,
I
they
can
love you, man.
okay, appreciate
They
it.
sitting there listening. They sitting there listening to the story and
Shout out
absorbing
to
it
the
all.
chat, then.
Yes,
Shout out
sir.
to the chat.
Yes,
Yeah,
so
bro.
got one of the best communities on YouTube, and I mean that from my heart, brother.
Well, keep doing
All
what
right,
you're doing, brother.
all right. I appreciate that,
Yes,
man.
sir.
Well, you enjoy the rest of your Sunday, and I know what we're gonna have you back, brother. We're gonna have you
Have to
back. You
come
know
back.
this. Okay.
Yeah, we can
All
talk about
right.
some other stuff too. Yes.
Yes, sir. All right, man. All
All
right.
right.
Love you, my brother.
All right. Love you
All
too, my
right.
brother.
Okay. Be blessed, man.
Be blessed. Take
All
care.
right. All right.
Bye-bye.
Very powerful, profound story. I had no idea that this was going to be this powerful and impactful, man. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. Like I said, when I shared with my brother that this is one of the most powerful interviews I've ever had, I wasn't lying to him. um, but I wanted to do this. I wanted to talk to this brother because I know that some of you know people that are still in cults, and maybe it has or maybe it hasn't gotten physical or violent yet. But whenever there is a cultic element, there's always the potential for it to go bad, like we heard today. So I'm praying that you share this with somebody, maybe, that you think may be in a cult where it may or may not go bad. Maybe you heard something that you connected with. And just the channel in general, and you guys know I try to be informational with you guys. I try to give you guys tools to use, because at the end of the day, all this points to freedom, people being free in Christ. I want somebody to be free in Christ. You know what I'm saying? And the freedom is taken away when man puts himself in the position of God. And that's what happened with this Yahweh Ben Yahweh stuff. And then like I drew the comparison with the Applegates and the Jim Joneses and the David Koreshes. You know, they put themselves in the place of God, and then they give a directive, and everybody lines up to follow the directive. No, we follow God. We follow Christ. We follow the word of God. That's what we follow. And we follow the Spirit of God. And that's what I hope that that you guys are doing as well. So, man, I appreciate you guys. Like I was saying during the podcast here, thank you guys, man, for being supportive, man. As always, man. Like I said, you guys go ahead and hit those. If this was a blessing to you, share this. Share this, like and share it, like and share it, like and share it. Even as we sitting here, you guys can be liking and sharing, liking and sharing, like and sharing. Get this into the algorithm, because we want this story to hit somebody that needs to hear it. You hear what I'm saying? So, also a couple of announcements. I started in my quest to become more educational. Hold on, let me get over here where I'm supposed to be. I started a school. I started a school. I know the Discord, but the Discord is too much for me, y'all. It's too much. It's too much going on. It's too much, too many moving parts, too much for me. So I found this other place where I can start teaching Bible studies on there. Okay. It's called School with a K. School with a K. And I'm going to start doing regular Bible studies over there, especially in the next couple of weeks. I just put the link in the chat. It's free to join. Now, it's going to be free to join for a certain amount of time, and then people to come after you guys is going to cost them something, because the information I'm going to be giving them is going to be very valuable information. But you are going to be part of the freemium group, my community. That's why I'm offering you to be there first. And I just put the link in the chat. It's free to join. It's free to sign up. I want you to join, because I'm going to be like I said, I'm going to start doing Bible studies and continuing on, particularly if you have a deeper understanding of what the gospel is, and you want to start learning the ins and outs of apologetics. That's what this group is going to be about. It's called In Context Academy. Okay. So In Context Academy is going to be a place that you will be taught the intricacies of the gospel. There's only one, guys. There's only one gospel. There's only one gospel. We make it crystal clear, because I want everybody in my community to be able to articulate the gospel. Why? Because the Apostle Paul said that I am not ashamed of the gospel, because it is the power of God unto salvation. So therefore, if you're able to share this gospel, people will be saved by that one gospel. So I want to make sure everybody knows what that is. Also, if you have you have an idea that you may want to get involved in apologetics, and maybe you're like, this is too much for me, I'm gonna start doing apologetics classes so that you guys understand the nuts and bolts of what apologetics is. People think it's just arguing. You're just arguing all the time. No, it goes far beyond that. And apologetics leads to the gospel. Why? Because the idea is apologetics talks about all the things outside of the gospel, but leads to the gospel, because we want to get them there, because that's how they get saved, right? So that's what I'm going to be offering in Context Academy through school with a K, SKOOL. I'll just put the link in the chat. You guys go over there, click. It's really easy to sign up. It's not like, I'm gonna be honest with you. When I started the Discord is overwhelming. It's too much. It's too many moving parts. It's too much going on there. So I'm shifting gears here, and let's go to a smaller platform that's more focused, where I can really do what I want to do, and that is educate my community. And so I'm offering it to you guys first, because I love you guys and I appreciate everything that you guys do. You know what I'm saying? And thank you for being here. So like I said, man, if you guys know anybody that could benefit from this interview with Dr. Khalil Amani, get this information to them, man, because maybe, like I said, by chance, someone will hear something in this that will help set people free. And we know also the gospel, which is the death, burial, and resurrection of Jesus Christ. That is what saved people. We're all sinners that are condemned to die, according to the book of Romans. But God sent his son to die in our place, because the Bible says the wages of sin is death. But the gift of God is eternal life through who? Through Jesus Christ our Lord. So through repentance, turning 180 degrees from sin to God, and faith in the one and only Jesus Christ of Nazareth, nothing else, that we know that we are saved through his sacrifice. You understand? So that's what we pushing towards. So anyway, God bless each and every one of you guys. Thank you for coming to hang out, man, with myself and Brother Khalil Amani. I can't wait till we do this again. I love each and every one of you guys. Don't forget to like and share, and go to the school, guys. Go to the school and follow. Hit the link and sign up for the school. It's free. It's quick. It's easy, so we can get this thing jumping. So and God bless you guys. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday afternoon. See you guys next time. Oh, I forgot. I am coming up on 1 million views, guys, on my channel. 1 million views. I can't even believe it. 1 million views that I'm coming up on my channel. When I do, I'm going to do a 6-hour show to celebrate my 1 million views. It's going to happen in the next couple of days. But I'm gonna have that 6-hour show. I know you guys can't show up for the whole 6 hours, but whenever I do show up, do that show, and it's going to be a call-in show where I'm going to take calls, and I'm trying to actually switch this over. I want to have more interviews like I did today, and I want to have more talks with people who don't agree with the biblical position. And I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're Catholic. I don't care if you're Hebrew Israelite. I don't care if you're Jehovah's Witness. I don't care if you're Mormon. Whatever your position is, I want to have a talk with you. Let's talk about the Bible. And that's what I want to talk about. Of course, in addition to that, and that's why I want to shift more. When you go to the teachings, I want you to go to the school for the teachings. I always still teach here. I'm not going to never stop teaching here. But the teaching would be more concentrated and focused on the school app that I put in the link. But the channel is going to a more conversational, interviewing type of format, such as you saw today. So just to let you guys know all of that, man. And like I said, man, God bless you guys. You guys enjoy the rest of your Sunday afternoon. See you guys next time. Peace. Get better.